Ебать!
Putin tried to freeze Ukraine by targeting power plants. Instead, he is now watching the heart of his own energy empire burn in places he thought were untouchable. On February 12, 2026, the strategic map of the Russian Federation was permanently redrawn. At 9:12 a.m., the Lukoil-Ukhtaneftepererabotka refinery, located deep in the Komi Republic, was hit. The distance from the Ukrainian border? Over 1,700 kilometers. So how did this attack happen? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Now let's get to the attack. It started 10 hours before impact at a secret launch strip in northern Ukraine. It was midnight. A crew prepared a single Liuti drone. For this mission, the airframe was effectively reborn. Every cubic centimeter of its internal volume was redesigned for extra fuel. 1,750 kilometers isn't just a number. It means taking off with twice the drone's normal weight. The engineers had to calculate the trade-off between armor and endurance. At 1:15, the propeller tore through the silence. The Liuti climbed into the pitch-black sky, heading north. This wasn't just a flight. It was an endurance test against the Russian interior, where thousands of kilometers of territory lay under a false sense of security. By 4:30, the drone was 600 kilometers deep into Russia. Its secret? Altitude discipline. The Liuti held a steady 50 meters, skimming the pine trees. At this height, multi-billion-dollar S-400 radars fight the laws of physics. Radar waves are straight, the Earth is curved. Below 50 meters, the drone disappears into ground clutter, reflections from frozen forests and snowbanks. But GPS was useless. Russia jams the entire corridor. The Liuti used its brain, optical sensors scanning river bends and highway junctions, comparing them to preloaded satellite maps. It wasn't taking commands. It was navigating by sight and memory. By 8:45, the drone was 40 kilometers from Ukhta. An acoustic sensor on a Russian telecom tower, a grey cylinder listening for engine frequencies, flagged a hit. The signal reached the command hub. Unidentified target, low altitude. But the human factor failed. Operators saw the border was 2,000 kilometers away and hesitated. A drone can't get this far, they reasoned. That 15-minute doubt was Russia's last chance. By the time the Liuti reached the outskirts, it was too late. Air defense couldn't fire a missile in the middle of a fuel plant without causing a disaster themselves. The drone slid through the maze of pipes, locking onto the AVT vacuum distillation unit. At 9:12, the sound was no longer a mystery. The Liuti began its terminal dive.
Вот летит. Еще в НПЗ.
Its AI recognized the distillation tower, the refinery's jugular vein. The 75-kilogram warhead was designed to penetrate thick steel before detonating. At 9:14, impact. The fire wasn't just a cinematic explosion, it was a functional death. Thousands of degrees melted the steel pipes and vaporized the control systems. The smoke plume was visible for 15 kilometers.
Опять падает солнце. Туда же. Ебать!
Ukraine didn't just burn oil, they destroyed Russia's ability to process it for years. If Ukraine keeps pulling off strikes like this, distance is no longer a defense. While these strategic strikes unfold, a relentless war for the skies continues on the front lines. A new era of drone-on-drone combat has emerged, where Ukrainian FPV systems engage in high-speed dogfights with Russian counterparts. This aerial duel is no longer just about hitting ground targets. It's a desperate chase for air superiority in the digital age. A Ukrainian FPV drone dropped a modified anti-tank mine directly onto a ruin where Russian soldiers were hiding. The resulting massive explosion was catastrophic. Due to the force of the blast, no one inside the structure survived. Another attack drone, belonging to Ukrainian forces, is approaching a Russian trench in the Donetsk region. The drone, moving toward the trench, detonated itself, destroying the trench. Not only trenches, but also soldiers in the same area have become targets for drones. Ukrainian forces are almost completely controlling the Donetsk region with drones. Countless drones lock onto hundreds of targets every day and carry out attacks. Ukraine's ability to now produce its own drones is steadily increasing the number of attacks. Trenches are no longer the preferred defensive position for soldiers on the front lines. Here is an underground military bunker. No soldier can survive an attack on this place. We also want you to know that your comments and likes on the video give us great moral support. In a historic display of aerial precision, UAVs from the 59th Separate Assault Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces captured extraordinary close-up footage of a Russian My-8 MTV-5 helicopter being intercepted. The heavy transport helicopter was tracked and brought down by a high-speed FPV drone, marking a significant milestone in modern combat. This successful engagement demonstrates that even armored aviation assets are no longer safe from the reach of agile, low-cost precision strikes. Ukraine's fiber optic FPV drone ambushed Russian soldiers. The drone, lying in wait on the route most frequently used by Russian soldiers, immediately attacked upon detecting the military personnel. New footage has emerged showing a Ukrainian drone operator skillfully using a fiber optic quadcopter to target a Russian logistics depot directly. This strategic facility was used to store important transport vehicles, ammunition, and a fleet of UAVs. Using fiber optic technology, the operator bypassed all local electronic warfare defenses and destroyed a vital Russian supply center. In the Pokrovsk direction, the 3rd Operational Brigade, Spartan, has unleashed a devastating wave of strikes against Russian logistics. Most of the attacks are now concentrated on frontline supply routes, targeting Russian ATVs and light vehicles. These highly mobile but unarmored vehicles, along with their crews, are being systematically destroyed. By prioritizing these transport arteries, Ukrainian forces are ensuring that Russian frontline units remain deprived of food, ammunition, and reinforcements. A Ukrainian drone operator struck a vehicle filled with Russian soldiers. The Russian soldiers were too late to respond to the incoming attack. A high-stakes trench assault was caught on camera. 2 Ukrainian assault troops approached a Russian shelter and delivered a massive payload, likely a TM-62 anti-tank mine, directly into the dugout. The force of the explosion was so immense that it completely blew the roof off the structure. Even if any personnel managed to survive the initial blast, the resulting overpressure would have caused severe, incapacitating concussions. Near Kostiantynivka, Ukrainian drone operators targeted an unexploded FAB-500 bomb that Russian forces had used as a makeshift defensive position. The precision strike triggered a massive detonation, completely destroying the fortified location. Due to the power of the 500-kilogram blast, the personnel on site were neutralized instantly. A split-second struggle for survival in Druzhkivka. Ukrainian troops in a pickup spotted a Russian FPV drone and opened fire in a desperate bid to bring it down. But the speed of these systems is relentless. One soldier was caught in the impact while trying to reach safety, sustaining injuries in the explosion. It's a stark reminder that on this battlefield, every second counts. The Triglav NRK company of the 110th Separate Mechanized Brigade is intensifying its operations using the Liuti ground combat robot, equipped with a machine gun and reinforced armor. This UGV enters high threat zones to systematically clear logistical routes. By neutralizing threats targeting transport corridors, the Liuti ensures the safety of drivers and maintains the stability of supply lines through cold, systematic precision. Tactical mobility in action near Mian. Ukrainian special forces conducted a rapid strike using the M113 APC as both a mobile shield and a fire support platform. With the M2 heavy machine gun suppressing the targeted sector, the unit completed its mission and executed a swift extraction. This hit-and-run maneuver highlights the coordination between infantry and armored support on the Zaporizhzhia front. Precision from above. Watch as a Shark UAV tracks a heavy BM-27 Oregon near the village of Pokrovska. Once the coordinates were locked, the M142 HIMARS delivered the final blow. It's a textbook example of the modern kill chain. See the target, relay the data, and eliminate the threat with surgical accuracy. In this war, if you are spotted by a drone, the artillery is already on its way. The dust settles in Berezivka. New footage shows the total neutralization of a Russian artillery unit. 2 BM-21 Grad launchers and their Ural support trucks stand charred and broken, the result of a precise Ukrainian artillery barrage. It's a clear look at the cost of static positioning. When the coordinates are dialed in, armor becomes scrap metal in seconds. A complex tactical situation unfolded near Ryshin. Under the cover of heavy fog, Russian units deployed, captured M113 APCs in an attempt to breach the front line undetected. The gamble initially worked, allowing them to enter the village, but the Panama drone unit was waiting. In a series of precision strikes, one M113 was destroyed and the accompanying IFV was hit. This engagement underscores the constant vigilance required on the Pokrovsk front, where even captured equipment and weather conditions can shift the battlefield in an instant. The SBU Alpha Special Forces continue to exert relentless pressure on the front line, maintaining constant surveillance and precision strikes. Over the past week, using strike UAVs and other fire assets, the Alpha units successfully neutralized a vast array of assets, including 3 tanks, 4 armored fighting vehicles, 16 artillery systems, and 4 MLRS units. Their operations further crippled logistics by destroying 231 transport vehicles, 203 communication nodes, and 4 ammunition depots, resulting in over 2,000 personnel losses. This is the skeleton of a city. New drone footage from Rubizhin shows the price of this conflict. But this destruction isn't random. Rubizhna is a critical gateway in the Donbas. As a vital link between Severodonetsk and Lysychansk, it sits on the primary supply routes of the Luhansk region. To control these ruins is to control the logistical heart of the entire sector. By watching this far, you have already given us tremendous support. Additionally, we would appreciate it if you could share your thoughts on the topic in the comments and like the video. See you in another news story.